Welcome to the Shiny Souls Cafe. This is Solar Paran's astrology insights. And um, so we are going to start out just by looking at this chart that I've cast for July 8th at 12 p.m. and where the planets are as we start out this coming week. So over the weekend, things should be, fairly easy for us. The sun is in Cancer, so that we're feeling rather emotional. Um, Mercury is also in Cancer, so we hopefully are sharing support, verbal support, intellectual support with others, and sharing how we feel. And Venus is here in Gemini. Again, being able to be diplomatic, talk things through, balance our intellectual needs and our emotional needs. We also have the the moon here in Scorpio. Again, that's a need to balance and look deep at our emotions. Scorpio is deeply emotional, transformational type emotions. And that is trying Mercury here. So as the week starts out over the weekend, we're going to be thinking about our the emotional aspects of our lives and talking about them. Mars is here in Taurus, so really the discussion centers around what it is we value, what we're willing to fight for, what we want to assert ourselves how we want to assert ourselves in order to feel safe and secure, as personal as a personal quest, not a public thing, but as personally, what do you need to do in order to feel safe and secure? We have Jupiter in Aries that is kind of turning up the volume on our need to take some sort of action or feel as if we need to take some sort of action, and also turning up the volume on our need for autonomy, which I've been talking a lot about while Mars and Jupiter were in Aries. And as you can see, there were reasons for that with the overturning of Roe versus Wade and those sorts of things. Um, and the talk about people's individual rights that are going to be taken away. There was also a push for of over aggression with the mass shootings that took place. So there Jupiter is doing a lot in Aries, but it's not all negative. What he's really doing is just expanding the number of people, the number of individuals that are looking for that autonomy, that right to make their own choices. When I talked about it before, I talked about it in reference to like your family or your local community, that kind of thing. But as you can see, it also is larger than that. Um, Saturn is here in Aquarius, still, making us feel as if there are limitations on what we're able to do um, socially. Um, Aquarius represents our social environment or the groups we belong to. And that just still feels a little bit heavy as we speak. Neptune is here in Pisces. Pisces, Neptune rules Pisces along with Jupiter, but Neptune rules Pisces. And so we're certainly seeing an uptick in religious and spiritual domination right now, as far as in thought processes and decisions that are made and those sorts of things. Um, Uranus is up here in Taurus, and Mars is going to eventually, at the beginning of August, the very beginning of August, Mars is going to conjunct Uranus, and that's a discussion in itself. And then we have Pluto down here in Capricorn, and that is right now, as we speak, especially on the 11th, there is an exact alignment with the U.S. Sibley chart, Pluto, so we call that the Pluto return. So that is happening in the background. And that was a time of asserting our will and opting for independence, which goes along with the whole autonomy. And people want to be able to be free to make their choices and prosper. So that's where we're starting out. And then at the beginning of the week, Mercury will square Jupiter here, and Mercury will, I'm sorry, yes, and Mercury will square Chiron. So we're going to have this expansiveness and this need on starting on July 8th of needing to express ourselves individually more, express our own will, our own desires, our own um, motivations. And Mercury square Chiron is going to bring about an opportunity for healing in that way. Um, Mercury is going to help us express our emotions, and that is going to help us to find that fine line between, being a sheep and following the herd, or making our own individual choices. Um, the on the That is the 8th and the 9th, and then on the 10th we have a full moon, and this is going to be an expressive full moon. Here's the moon in Capricorn, and the sun is up here in Cancer, with Mercury close by, and the moon has Pluto close by. So that is going to be an interesting full moon. It is making other alignments along the way, squares and trines and those sorts of things. But what I really want to discuss is this closeness that this full moon has to Pluto and also Mercury. So I feel like this is going to be a very um, important full moon, because of this full moon being close to Pluto and us being in the Pluto return phase of the Sibley chart. But for individuals, it is also going to be a time of where our emotions can be quite transformative. Maybe something happens that we suddenly feel a need to go deep, or something that touches us deeply. And there's going to be this voice out there that speaks to us, or this information, maybe on the news, maybe you hear it from your neighbor. But it's going to be this talk about, nurturing, motherhood, these things that Cancer is known for. Cancer is the sign where we look to for um, the things that motivate us, that we nurture, that we feed. And the sun being there and being opposite the moon means there's this point of opposition. The sun and the moon are always in opposite signs of the full moon. This opposition, and it can seem like an either or situation. Capricorn is an earth sign, and it's known to be stoic, um, cold, ruthless, um, and all of those negative things we think about, unyielding, in a lot of things. It also represents institutions, anything with the word "the" in front of it. So not things that are personal, but those things out there that represent society as a whole, or the government, the church, any group as a whole. What the foundation that keeps it functioning. So the moon is in Capricorn, and so that feeling as if things are just the way they are. You can't you don't really feel as if you have the ability to influence, or impact what goes on in the larger world. Yet the sun is over here in Cancer, saying, but this matters. This allows for you to have a good emotional foundation to function with, as an individual. So you can see the pull, the opposition there. And so the idea is not to choose one over the other, although most people will choose themselves over an institution, hopefully. But the idea is not to choose one experience over the other. The idea is to be able to integrate or to balance those two energies. And people are very emotional right now. There are a lot of people in pain. And the transformations that we've been going through as a country, if you live in the US, but as individuals, even if you don't, this is Pluto's alignment is a worldwide alignment. It's not just the US. But the transformation that we've all been going through can has made us feel as if what we need, what we want, what we desire, our goals, our ambitions as individuals have all changed shape, and they don't seem to matter as much anymore. And the fact is your ambitions, your goals are changing, but that seems to have been imposed on us by the outer world. This new moon, I'm sorry, full moon, is going to bring that kind of to the center of your attention. The sun is going to be focused from the opposite direction on Pluto, and the moon is going to, our emotions are going to have to be filtered, or will be filtered through the realism and the transformation that Pluto has taken up here in Capricorn. So I know that's a deep statement, and that's okay because Pluto is deep. This full moon will be deep. And, we have to adjust to these things that are going on and decide how we want to move forward with them. So, for that, we would look to both Mars and Venus because that's where a lot of activity is taking place in the inner planets: Sun, the Moon, Venus, Mercury, Mars. And so Mars has now moved into Taurus. And Mars's goal in Taurus is going to be to help us take the right action to bring us a more stable environment, to look at what we value and what we're willing to take action to protect or to claim as ours. And, we can feel like things have certainly been shifting in that area, and people have a right to respond to that, and so that's what's going to be happening. My take is that a lot more men are upset about the change in Roe versus Wade than we have yet seen, and that will probably be one of the things that come out with Mars and Taurus. The other option is we could get more pushback. Taurus actually represents our self-esteem, our self-respect, but it also represents the harvest. And so, what we have, what we feel like belongs to us, um, we feel like we have possession of. And Mars could be there to show us we don't, we could be struggling to maintain what we feel like is our personal resource. Mars is also usually needed to gain resources. So the other aspect of that is then you going out and taking the right action to increase your resources or to solidify your resources. So Mars is going to be doing the job as well, and Mars won't reach an alignment with Pluto until later this month, so we won't talk about that. But part of this full moon that's taking place has the Sun sextile Uranus within a couple of degrees. That could be an experience of some surprising elements to those resources, those natural resources. And it also has, this is all taking place on July 10th with that full moon. Mercury square Chiron. So Mercury is also squaring Chiron, and it has just been square Jupiter, or will be. And so there's a lot going on still in that area of autonomy. And last but not least, we have Venus um, trine Saturn here. So that gives us a little bit of, so Venus is very diplomatic. She likes to keep things balanced, and there can be this idea of over compromise with Venus. And coming up with Saturn there, it seems like, because it's a trine, it seems like she's got a little bit of backing. So Gemini is where Venus would operate individually in a person's mind. And, it could, the perceptions and understanding that Venus brings about issues could, or communication, information, could be just centered on that one person. But out here, Saturn is in Aquarius, which is about groups, which is about the larger group. And so there's some communication between individual minds and this larger group. And it seems as if there's two ways this could play out. It is a struggle for Venus to get her point across. So there's resistance, Saturn. Or it could be that this individual who's trying to get out there and get their point across, or get some understanding in a wider group, actually is able to become an authority figure within that group. So trines can work either way. Um, Venus certainly has some things to do, some hard work, some maybe some limitations or restrictions, or she could be laying a strong foundation. So with all of those things going on around the full moon, I have already said it is going to be a very significant full moon. We all will know the outcome of all of this energy, and we will have our own thoughts about it. Um, you know, there's various ways this can all play out. Venus is also, for instance, square Neptune here over the week, and that can bring on a little bit of confusion. So when we feel that confusion, kind of, and you're also going to have a trine with the sun here. Um, the confusion, it's easy to feel as if you don't know what to do. When that happens, take deep breaths, um, and practice the 4x4 breathing method I've talked about before, and allow your mind to turn over a new thought. Our brains, our minds are fed with oxygen. Turn over a new thought. Um, so this should be an eventful week, but it also has some pluses to it. So I hope that you all enjoy your week ahead, and I look forward to talking with you next week on Friday. Thank you. Have a good day. Oh, and if you are interested in a personal reading, by all means, either leave a comment or get in touch with me on my website. Later tonight, we will be hosting a talk that we do every month. So if you want to get on that mailing list, so you know when the Eventbrite monthly discussions are for the energy for the month, also let me know in the comments, or by emailing me on my website. Thank you very much. See you next time. Bye-bye.